Hello everyone, how are you? I'm Nishikawa, the presenter of this program. This video, Unit 6, explains monitoring and evaluation in the PCM method. It also introduces some tips for facilitation of PCM workshops. In this video, the case of Akihabara village is used again for purpose of explanation. If you are hearing the name of Akihabara village for the first time, please watch the Unit 2 of this DVD and have a look at the PDF with basic information about Akihabara village before watching this video. Do you remember the project cycle diagram? After the analysis stage and the planning stage, follow the implementation stage and the evaluation stage. The first thing needed on this implementation stage is monitoring. Monitoring is performed after starting a program or project to check periodically to see whether activities are carried out as planned and if outputs are made, and to make course corrections if necessary. In other words, it is work carried out internally within the program or project. The major pillar of monitoring is schedule management. It is work to check the progress of the activities and the outputs during the program or project. It is necessary to make monitoring frameworks in advance to perform monitoring properly. Please form monitoring frameworks after making an action plan in the planning stage. Monitoring frameworks are set in a format to describe who performs monitoring on what, how, and when, and how the result of monitoring is reflected into schedule management through what decision-making process. It is a monitoring table that those monitoring frameworks are integrated. A monitoring table is made up of 5 blocks. The first block is for information to be collected, to describe what information should be collected. The second is for data collection, to describe who collects the data when and how. The third is for aggregation, to describe who aggregates the collected data when and how. The fourth is for appraisal or decision-making, to describe who appraises or makes decisions on the aggregated data when and how. The fifth is for communication of decisions, to describe how the appraisal or decision is notified. In the block to describe what information should be collected, first comes the narrative summary, which includes the objective, outputs, and activities of the program or project. In the next cell comes measurement for progress. Then, in the last cell come data items to be collected. Now, let us fill in the blocks for the example of Akihabara village. First, the sub-activity for the activity 1, improvement of the well management, is 1-1, establishment of management association. Let us take the activity 1-1-1, formation of a management association preparatory committee. The measurement of progress is an installation committee is formed. Next, there can be meeting minutes as an idea for the main item for the data sources. Next follows data collection. let us ask candidates for the installation committee members to be in charge of the minutes of meetings. The preparatory committee will be formed by late April 2009. How about timing and frequency of the data collection as at every meeting from early April 2009? Now comes aggregation. First, the cell for person or organization is filled in describing who aggregates and processes the collected information. Here, let us state that the note-taker of the village committee will do the work. As for timing and frequency, it is recommended to aggregate bi-monthly from April 2009. Then, the method will be the note-taker summarizes information. Now, let us have a look at the cells corresponding to appraisal or decision-making. In regards to who makes the decisions, let us state that it will be the village committee and set the timing and frequency as bi-monthly from April 2009. Then we have the communication of decisions. Let us state bi-monthly from April 2009 for timing and frequency, and to notify orally and with written document for the method. Given these guidelines, the village committee board of directors makes deliberation on the submitted documents of aggregated information, and if the board finds the forming of the preparatory committee is delayed, it will request the member candidates for the committee to form the committee swiftly. And if the committee is already formed, it will instruct the committee to proceed to the next step. In this way, a monitoring table is to be filled in. By doing this, it becomes clear how much the activities have progressed and how many outputs were drawn from them. If activities are not progressing as planned, factors for such condition can also be monitored to give proper guidance for course correction. Now, allow me to explain the 8th step of the PCM method, evaluation. Evaluation in the PCM method means to evaluate a program or project by means of 5 criteria for evaluation, which are efficiency, effectiveness, impact, relevance, and sustainability. During and after the program or project. The first purpose of the evaluation is to draw various kinds of lessons learned from the implemented program or project, based upon which recommendations are made. Feedback from the recommendations is used for course correction within the frame of the current program or project, or may be useful to identify and plan programs or projects in the future. As for who does the evaluation, it may be appropriate to have a third party, one not directly involved in planning and implementing the target program or project, to achieve neutrality, transparency, and objectivity in the evaluation. Then, when evaluation should be done, timing of the evaluation depends on its purpose. If the purpose is to check the condition of implementation for reviewing the initial plan and to strengthen the management system by looking to see if a program or project is effectively progressing as scheduled, a so-called midterm evaluation is recommended, which is carried out halfway through the program or project. If the purpose is to make a comprehensive evaluation, a so-called terminal evaluation is recommended, which is carried out at the end of a program or project. And if the purpose is to see if the desired effect of the project is sustained or if any follow-up is necessary, a so-called post-evaluation is necessary, which is carried out within a certain period of time after completion of the program or project. In this way, the timing for implementation differs depending on the purpose of evaluation. So, the purpose of evaluation should be determined at the beginning. Generally, there are 5 items at the evaluation criteria, which are 1. Efficiency, 2. Effectiveness, 3. Impact, 4. Relevance, and 5. Sustainability. Allow me to explain these 5 evaluation criteria within a project or program. Efficiency is measured by observing how much outputs have been obtained both quantitatively and qualitatively by the injected human, material, and monetary resources through the planned activities during implementation. For example, you check whether or not the activities have been using appropriate equipment and human resources according to the planned schedule. In addition, consideration is also made as to whether there were any other ways to bring about the same outputs with fewer resources. Effectiveness is measured by seeing how much contribution has been made by obtained outputs to achieve the project objectives by the end of the project. Impact is measured by seeing what direct or indirect influence has been exerted on the target group by implementation of the project in both positive and negative ways. Relevance is measured by seeing how meaningful the project objectives were from policy viewpoints, comparing them to longer-term objectives, namely community needs, as well as plans and policies of the provincial or national government. Sustainability is measured through observation of whether similar activities are continuously underway even after completion of the project. Now, allow me to explain the evaluation process more precisely. An evaluation study can be divided into 3 phases, namely planning, implementation, and reporting, and 6 steps. Let us have a look at each of these steps. Step 1. Confirming evaluation purpose. In planning an evaluation study, first, the purpose of the evaluation should be confirmed among those who are concerned with the program or project. Step 2. Information collection. After confirming the purpose of the evaluation, information pertaining to the program or project is collected and sorted. First, information from the monitoring process is to be collected. Then, sort out what has become clear up to now from reviewing the relevant materials and conducting hearing with those who are concerned. Consequently, it becomes easy to consider what questions are important in the evaluation study and what data should be additionally collected. Step 3 is formulation of an evaluation work plan. 1. First, consider what should be discovered from the evaluation study and set questions for the evaluation according to the 5 evaluation criteria respectively. 2. Next, give consideration to what value is the program or project expected to obtain. Then, consider and set criteria for judging achievement level of the expected value. 3. Then, consider and determine what data are necessary for evaluation and what their information sources are. Once determined, select a collection method for the data, for example, by questionnaire forms or by interviews, etc. 4. Lastly, all design content should be integrated into an evaluation grid. An evaluation grid is a table to describe the outline of an evaluation study plan. Step 4 is work to actually collect the necessary data for evaluation through on-site study. Step 5 is data analysis and interpretation. 1. First, analyze and process the collected data in a form suitable for evaluation in terms of the 5 evaluation criteria. 2. Based on the result of analysis, evaluate them according to the 5 criteria to clarify contributing factors and retarding factors. 3. Draw an overall conclusion from the evaluation result. 4. Draw lessons learned from the conclusion to form recommendations. Step 6 is evaluation results reporting. The evaluation is completed by making the report as clear and understandable as possible to organizations and persons who utilize the evaluation result, and by gathering feedback. I assume that you will hold some workshops and be facilitators for these PCM workshops after returning to your countries. Here, I will share with you 11 useful tips for you when facilitating PCM workshops. Keeping them in your mind will help you become a more sophisticated facilitator. Tip 1. To respect the individuality and independence of participants of the workshop. The main players of a workshop are the participants. Please allow the participants to steer the workshop by themselves to set up the theme and raise issues and problems. Tip 2. To leave managing the workshop to the leader. For procession of a workshop, let the participants select a leader. The leader is to lead the workshop and shepherd the discussion. A facilitator and a co-facilitator are to observe the leader and the other participants and give advice when necessary. Tip 3. To give well-timed appropriate advice. A facilitator is required to give advice when necessary while the leader and the other participants are having the workshop. Please grasp the proceedings of the workshop and give concrete advice properly timed. Tip 4. To encourage all participants express ideas. Designating a leader for a workshop sometimes makes other participants hesitant to speak out. In such a case, it is necessary to urge the leader and the other participants to create an atmosphere where all participants can express their ideas. Tip 5. To check logicality of the cards. Particularly in problems analysis and objectives analysis, please ascertain that logicality of the cards do not have any inconsistencies. If there are significant logical inconsistencies among the cards, please give advice to the participants to mend it. Problems analysis should be continued till the participants dwell down to fundamental, underlying problems which can be regarded as given conditions. And if a problem is related to any problem in the other domains, the relation should be indicated by a line. In the same way, if some problems are looped, such relations also should be shown by a line. Tip 6. To allocate time properly. In making a problem tree, please try to allocate as much time as possible to have sufficient number of cards with problems written on and to clearly identify causal relations. Tip 7. To avoid unrealistic ideas. If any card is found to be unrealistic, when converted from the problems tree to the objective tree, please advise the participants to reconsider the card's content, to indicate that conversion is unrealistic, or to delete the description. Tip 8. To explain in a friendly way to those who don't understand. If any of the participants gets confused, not understanding what to do during the workshop, please explain the required task, reviewing what has been done up till then. Tip 9. To move around. Please move around so as not to stay with any one particular group, otherwise you may exert too much influence on the group. Tip 10. You are a facilitator. Please remind the participants in the group that they have their own experience and area of expertise. Please don't think you must answer all questions you are asked. You shouldn't. Please don't think you must be an expert. Just remember, you are a facilitator. Tip 11. To experience and accumulate many on-site experiences. On-site experiences of programs and projects are also necessary to be a good facilitator. If a facilitator has many pragmatic experiences, he or she can give many hints to the participants of the workshop. I assume all of you are intending to be good facilitators in the future. So, please have many on-site experiences. That's it for the 11 tips to be a good facilitator. Now, let us review this unit. Monitoring is needed to periodically check the activities of a program or project to see if they are carried out as scheduled, and if expected outputs are drawn after starting a program or project, so that course correction can be made if necessary. In other words, it is the internal work of the project. A monitoring table should be formed to carry out the monitoring properly. A monitoring table is a table to make sure monitoring is carried out in an organized manner all through a series of the monitoring steps, which are 1. What information should be collected? 2. Who collects such information, when and how? 3. Who aggregates the collected data, when and how? 4. Who makes decisions on the aggregated data, when? 5. How the decisions are notified. The evaluation in the PCM method is work carried out using the 5 items as evaluation criteria. The 5 criteria to be verified are efficiency of the program or project, effectiveness, impact including long-term and ripple effects, relevance as to how much the program or project purpose contributes to realization of the overall goal, and sustainability after completion of the program or project. An evaluation study consists of 6 steps, which are: Step 1. Confirming evaluation purpose. Step 2. Information collection. Step 3. Formulation of an evaluation work plan. Step 4. Data collection for evaluation by on-site study. Step 5. Data analysis and interpretation. Step 6. Evaluation results reporting. There are various tips for facilitating PCM workshops. Please refer to the list of tips attached to this DVD in PDF file form. That's all for the review of this unit. Those who have watched all the video from Unit 0 to this Unit 6, thank you for your time and attention. This is the end of this video series. Hope to see you again somewhere, sometime in the future. Until then, goodbye!